I am Natasha James, the owner of Allstar Community Care and Allstar Community Outreach, which is a nonprofit that has an arm connected to Allstar Community Care. We provide mental health services to children and adults that are ages 0 to 99. Well, I'm glad to have you here today, Dana.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me just a little bit about what you do and who your client base is and
sure.
how we can help you?
The Young Entrepreneurs Academy is a nonprofit organization. We are sponsored by the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, LED, and also the LSU E.J. Uso College of Business. We're a nonprofit that helps students who are interested in creating and launching their own businesses. So right now, we are accepting applications for our next cohort. Students come to us to the LSU campus every Wednesday night from 5 to 8 p.m. and they spend time with LSU professors, with teachers from YEA, with expert speakers, with mentors, and they learn how to come up with a business plan, then write their business plan, and then do a Shark Tank style pitch competition in the spring. And then in April, when they graduate, they've got seed funding for their business, they've got 3 hours of credit from LSU, and they also have all of the support of the community that they have earned through their participation in the YEA program. And there's a lot of resources on our website, yeabr.org. And if you get on our website and you look at the successes tab, you can go watch some of the pitches that have happened over the last 6 years. There's an application link if you're interested in applying. And then there's also an area in our website for people around the community who are business owners, who are interested in mentoring or getting involved with us.
What advice would you give young people interested in starting their own ventures?
We at YEA find that encouraging students to not give up, right? It's not an easy process. And sometimes you'll get a lot of no's along the way, especially as you move towards growing and increasing the visibility of your business, right? Just stay dedicated to what you're doing, know what your mission is, surround yourself with really great people who can mentor you and build you up, and don't let a no along the way, which will definitely happen, stop you from continuing to do what you know you're meant to do.
Interesting. That's great advice. But with that being said, what are some common qualities or personality traits do you commonly see in those that are applying for the YEA program?
We love to see students who, I like to say students with hustle, because I think that that's a really good way to describe it. You know, as adults, you can kind of see it when you meet a young person who just has that thing. They have vision for business ideas, for entrepreneurship. They have that hustle. They're not scared to walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, my name is Dana. I'm with the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. Can I tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing with students?" We look for students like that. That is the ideal YEA student.
Listen, I still have issues with going up to people and talking about, "Hey, my name is Natasha James."
It's intimidating.
It very much, look, they just told us to do this a few minutes ago, and I was not one that did it. So I wouldn't have been able to come into the program.
Yes, you should come have our training session where we teach students. We teach our students how to do that. We have one night, one of our community events. We have 3 community events a year. The first one is called the CEO Roundtable. So we bring in CEOs and executives from the Baton Rouge area, and they sit at a panel with an audience to tell their story of entrepreneurship. But right before they're on that stage, we spend an hour of mixing and mingling. So we teach our students how to do something called an elevator pitch. You know, a lot of us adults know what that is.
I'm still not doing it.
So we teach them how to do that. Like, what would you say if you had less than a minute to pitch your business to somebody? And we send them out into the audience before our CEO roundtable with all of those executives and all of those Baton Rouge area professionals with business cards. And we require them to walk up to people and do that. We teach them how to do it in class beforehand. They're scared to death. But once they do one or two or three, it gets easier and easier. And that's just another one of those life skills that students learn in YEA.
Right. You know, Dana, this is amazing because I have been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. And I am 46 years old, and I am still struggling with a lot of the things that you're teaching right now. So had this been around when I was growing up or when I was becoming a young entrepreneur, this would have been an amazing opportunity for me.
You know, I've heard a lot of people tell me, people like you that I've met around the community and in different businesses, that they wish there was an old Entrepreneurs Academy.
Right. And that's, is really, to be honest with you, a lot of us struggle with a lot of the things that you're teaching as entrepreneurs. And on top of that, the networking part is important. I am just understanding the dynamics behind why entrepreneurship and networking go together so well.
Yes.
I probably could be light years past where I am now as an entrepreneur if I had gone out and done the networking 5 years ago.
Well, I mean, you're doing that now. I mean, 'cause that's how we met.
Right.
You networked with Deborah Sternberg, who's the founder of our organization, and then she connected the two of us, and now we're having this great conversation.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is amazing. I am so, and that's why you're here, because I am so uberly flabbergasted by all of this stuff that you all are doing. Like, it's just not something that I would have even known about if I hadn't been in a Rotary Club. I mean, kudos to you guys.
Thank you. Well, kudos to you. I mean, you're doing amazing work here in the community as well with the youth in the Baton Rouge area.
We're both doing great work. So we're going to talk about some personal insights.
Okay, cool.
What has been the most rewarding part of working with young entrepreneurs for you personally?
For me, I love the growth and the transformation that I witness in students that go through the program. They come to us in September. The first day of orientation, we ask them to stand up in a room of maybe 50 people, parents of this and the students and the instructors, and that's pretty much it. It's a small room compared to what they end up doing in the pitch. We ask them to stand up and introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Dana. I'm in 10th grade. I go to Baton Rouge High or whatever. They're usually uncomfortable most of the time when they stand up and do that. Then they go through YEA and they make all of these connections, meet all of these mentors, learn how to do all of these cool things like an elevator pitch and the pitch competition. When they get on that stage at our community pitch in March, you wouldn't even recognize the student that stands up at orientation. It's a complete transformation. That is my favorite thing about YEA.
Doesn't that just make your heart melt when you see a kid go from one point to another?
Yes. And I'm in the audience watching them, and I'm just want to like scream and yell. I'm like, you did it!
Proud mommy moment.
Yes, proud mommy moment. That's exactly right.
What motivates you to continue supporting and mentoring young entrepreneurs?
Well, I'm a lifetime educator. I started my career in the college level, and then went to spend 18 years in the secondary education arena. I love working with teenagers. People look at me like I'm crazy when I say that sometimes. But for me, it's all about empowering young people to know what they're capable of doing. And that's why I stay involved with YEA and why I love doing this so much.
Just makes you just want to just love on everybody's children, right?
Exactly.
A few things about the Academy.
Great.
Can you give me a brief overview of what Young Entrepreneur Academy is all about?
Sure. So take the arc of the program, it starts in September, goes all the way through April. It really follows the arc of creating and launching a business. When you were starting your business, you probably had an idea at first. It starts with an idea. The beginning of our program, we call it the big idea, where we go through every student and we say, okay, so tell us if you have an idea going or not. If they don't, which is absolutely fine, they do not have to have an idea in place before they apply to YEA. We brainstorm that with them. So we go through the idea phase of, okay, let's hear all the ideas. Okay, let's whittle that down. Let's drill into it. You want to have a clothing line? Okay. There's a lot of clothing lines out there. Why is yours special? What's your niche? What's going to make that one different from the others? We go through that. And then once we have their businesses established, we register every student's business with the Secretary of State, so they become real certified business owners in our classroom. The Secretary of State actually comes to our classroom to do that, which is a really cool moment for us. And then they write their business plan. So we move into the business plan phase in the second trimester. We pair every single student up with 2 mentors, a business mentor and a financial mentor, to sit with them to help them write their business plan. So they've learned all the components of the business plan up to that point, and then they sit with their mentors and start writing it. But it's not fair to just throw them to the wolves and say, hey, okay, we taught you how to do this, now go get in front of that computer and do it. We give them adults to support them and help them think through all of the components. We also have graphic designers who volunteer their time to create the branding and logos for our students. We have lots of amazing graphic designers from the Baton Rouge area who volunteer their services and their talent to create all that branding. And that is what the second trimester is. It ends that trimester with the community pitch, which is where we have the pitch competition, the Shark Tank style competition that we're so famous for. And then after that, we have launch. So they get the funding to start their business at that community pitch event, and then they launch their companies. So we again reinforce the social media components that they need, the marketing components that they need. We give them access to their funds, so we teach them that, and then they're on their way. They've launched their company. They're business owners and CEOs, and they're high school students doing all of that.
When you was talking about the branding part of it, Deborah did come to Rotary, and she did a speaking engagement with Rotary, and she had this amazing PowerPoint, and she brought 2 of your young entrepreneurs there. And when I tell you how amazed I was, I cannot tell you about the whole gist of what those young entrepreneurs did, but one of them had some type of medical technology.
It was Clear RX.
Yeah.
Amelia Sindora.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at how her young brain could think about how to create this.
Yes.
I think it's for diabetes.
Well, it's actually for anybody who uses medication.
Yeah.
So and that was, you see a problem and you find a solution. That's how a lot of businesses are created, right?
Right.
So for Amelia, she had a family member who had trouble understanding the medication that they were taking. And people who are visually impaired also might have trouble reading those giant sheets of paper. I mean, you go to the pharmacy, you get the medicine, and then there's 4 pages of stuff to read. Right. So her idea, the initial goal was to help her grandmother who takes medication, but also to increase access for all people to what their medical information is about their medicine they're taking. So it's a QR code that goes on a prescription bottle. And then when you scan it, it reads the information about your medication to you. So you don't have to read all those papers. It increases accessibility, and it also improves the safety of patients taking medication.
Yeah, that just amazed me.
Yeah.
It really did amaze me. Now, mind you, she was one of the higher tech type of people that was there, but we also saw that there was cookie bakery kids that does different types of sweet treats. We saw clothing companies. We saw graphic design. We saw, there was so many different, I think she had like over 1,000 logos on this little piece of, it was just so amazing.
There's over 100 businesses that we've launched over 6 years.
Yeah. Do you have a personal success story that you like to share?
Yeah, so just last year, actually, we had a student a couple of years ago, Hayden Vidrine, who launched a clothing line with YEA, and he has business partners that he partnered up with to grow the line. It's called Wonder. He is now in college studying entrepreneurship at LSU and continuing his clothing line. Recently, last year, he went to a pitch competition at Nexus at the Louisiana Technology Park and pitched against other adults and well-known entrepreneurs and won. He and his business won. So in addition to the success he found in YEA, he went on, took those pitch skills that he learned with us, and won another $1,000 for his clothing line, Wonder Clothing.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so you all are even making more moves and making sure that they are getting access to financial opportunities as well.
Yes, and we support them even after they graduate. When Hayden was prepping for that pitch competition, he reached out to us. One of our experts in training our students with the pitch, one of the co-founders of our organization, met with him, helped him fine-tune his pitch. Your mentors don't just drop off and disappear once you graduate from YEA. It's a lifetime of mentors, just like building your business network, building the people that support you. We encourage our students to stay in touch with their mentors, and they frequently do.
Do you allow them to come back and talk to the other young entrepreneurs as they?
Oh, yes, all the time. Yeah, so we were talking about Deborah's presentation at Rotary. We had several students with us. Some of them were current students at the time. Some of them were graduates.
Okay.
We love for our current students to interact with our graduates because it gives them vision for what they could become. They can see this is real. I mean, this is a student that's only a couple years older than me having this success. So definitely.
You've noted at some point in our conversation that you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You can just have the idea. Mm-hmm. Have you had any kids to come through the program that just had an idea that you saw come to fruition, see it grow, the whole nine, just kind of?
Yes, I mean, that literally happens every single year.
Really?
They come in, and it amazes me the ideas that they come up with. Why didn't I think of that? Like, oh my gosh, it's so obvious. It's a head slapper.
Yeah, before we started filming, I shared with you a conversation that I had about some of the kids that we work with and how artistic they are, how mechanical they are with building things and doing things, and even with the kids that like playing video games. A lot of times children that don't have access to the opportunities that's present in the community, they find themselves limited to what they are able to do and what they can and cannot do. And so my reason for bringing you here is to kind of connect you guys to one another. I shared with you that we have a 10-year gala coming up, and I have an artist that'll be here painting. I don't know what he calls it, but he's going to paint a picture of us at the gala at the building. But that's a whole job for him. Like, he's always booked, and I had to book him in April.
Wow.
So the fact that, and my gala isn't until October. So the fact that he's able to do that, I want you to kind of elaborate on how ingenuitive, kids can be, even with the fact that they don't realize that some of their most fun things that they do, drawing all day in class, how that can actually turn into a person becoming an entrepreneur.
Yes. Well, there's an expression, if you have fun at work, you'll never work a day in your life, right? And that is exactly what you're talking about, giving students the vision to say, I really love painting, but how am I going to make money doing that? There's lots of ways to make money doing that, just like what you were talking about, this artist that you've hired, live painting. We had a student this past year. She is really passionate about fashion. She created a company called She Capsule, which helps people curate an outfit for a themed event, right? So literally, just because you love it doesn't mean that you can't do that for a living. Right? And so just giving students the permission to explore their passion, what they actually enjoy doing, that is the key. If they have fun at work, then we've done our job.
Right. And then they're making good money doing it.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about skills and learning. How do you incorporate real-world experiences and mentorship into the curriculum?
Oh, I love that question. So we love to bring students out into the real world on field trips. It's important for them to see true success stories around the Baton Rouge area so it gives them the vision for what is possible for themselves. Every year we bring students to Marucci, which is a local Baton Rouge success story that is a global brand now, right? I mean, if you are a student that plays baseball or softball, you know what Marucci is,
Listen,
right?
my son plays baseball, and his bats are not
Yes,
cheap.
you do know that. You do know that. They support YEA. They invite our students to come learn that entire story, which is so powerful for them. We take them to the technology park to learn about startups and business incubators and that lens of entrepreneurship. We take them to the Baton Rouge Arts Council to learn about social entrepreneurship. Last year, students got to meet Todd Graves from Raising Cane's and sit at his conference table and tell him about their businesses. So, we take them out into the community to see real success stories in action. And then they also get, from a mentoring lens, a financial mentor, a business mentor, a graphic designer. All of those people are assigned to their business to help them set themselves up for success. YEA it's important to think about it, people who are listening to this, it's a community organization. Right? No matter what you do, you can be a part of helping students in YEA. If you're an educator, you can tap students on the shoulder and say, I see this in you, you need to apply for this. If you are a business executive, a financial executive, you can mentor students and volunteer with us that way. If you are a restaurant owner, you can donate meals. We feed our students every Wednesday night. That's another thing we didn't even talk about, but they're coming to us from 5 to 8. They're hungry when they get there.
Right.
I mean, teenagers like to eat. So if you're a restaurant owner, you can donate a meal to support our students. If you are in the nonprofit sector, just like what you and I are sitting here having this conversation, you are helping us spread the word. You work with teenagers that might need to apply for this, right?
Right.
So literally anybody, any career, anything that you do, you can impact students through YEA.
So now that she's brought that up, let's do a PSA to other organizations out there.
Yes.
And, hey, listen, we need you. We really need you to help partner with us in helping this to become what it is. I mean, even to grow even bigger, reach more children, reach more organizations, reach more communities, reach more everybody, so that there are so many talented kids out. And I think the mayor has some type of initiative right now with Safe Hope and
Safe, Hopeful, Healthy.
Yeah. So that is something that, keeping kids off the streets. We're always trying to figure out what is it that we can do to keep them busy. And this is it. You can show them how to at least start, gain traction on making their way to becoming that whatever entrepreneur that they see on social media. So, hey, make your PSA.
Yes. So if you work with students, you know students, or you would like to learn more about YEA, we would love to hear from you. Our website is yeabr.org. So please encourage students to apply. Our application is right there on our website, and I look forward to hearing from you.
And she's going to say that again a couple of more times before we end this. So if you didn't get it, you will get it. I promise you. Okay, Dana, about the Academy, what inspired Deborah to create this Academy, and what is its core goals?
Yes. So over 6 years ago, the vision was seeing the gap in opportunities for students in 8th through 12th grade in entrepreneurship in general. The important thing to remember about YEA is that you don't have to wait until you're an adult or out of high school or out of college to become a business owner. So she saw that opportunity and that gap in teaching entrepreneurship to students at this age level, and that was what inspired her to start YEA. She comes from a family of entrepreneurs, so she learned she lived, ate, and breathed it her entire life, and now she is taking that knowledge, that expertise that she gained throughout her life to create this organization and open up more opportunities for other students.
And she's doing an amazing job at it. I just can't think about how you think that head slapper. You
Yes,
know, that
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, who would have thought, you know, just taking that time out of your busy schedule and pouring into young adults, you know, and it's just amazing. Program details. Can you walk us through the typical experience for a student in the academy?
Sure. So they apply anytime before, right now, this year, August 18th. You know, every year it's around that same time, right? So they apply, they get accepted, they start the program in September. And then again, they'll follow that flow of the entire program where they'll figure out what their business is going to be. We lock that in. We teach them all the components of writing their business plan. They write their business plan with their mentors. Then we teach them how to do their pitch competition. They do their Shark Tank style event called the Community Pitch, get access to their funding, and then go launch their business. So that's, you know, really, really quick way to explain the flow of the program. It goes from September to April, every Wednesday night from 5 to 8 at LSU in the E.J. Uso College of Business.
You also mentioned at some point throughout this conversation that there is a time commitment. Talk a little bit about that.
Awesome. So our time commitment is, over the course of the program, students will spend about 100 hours of time in a school year working on this program. So it's 3 hours a night, once a week, which is a big commitment for students in general. But it pays off. You know, you need to invest in yourself in order to find success. And so that commitment of time is very, very important to us. We do hold students accountable to come into class. They have to show up and they have to do the work, but the rewards on the other side are invaluable.
But that's all a part of entrepreneurship, though, right?
Absolutely.
You have to learn how to be responsible. You have to learn, and that's teaching you those job readiness skills on understanding that you, can, as the boss, cannot be late coming.
Yes.
The employee may be able to be late, but you can't be late.
Yes, and
if they don't do it, then that doesn't mean you can't do it because you are the CEO. You're the one that has to take on all of the responsibility. So I get, you know, the time commitment. A lot of times kids go to school late. They don't do their homework on time.
Yeah. We do hold them accountable, and they respect it.
I would think so. I would think so.
Absolutely.
I could appreciate it as a parent because it would probably, as a parent, not me telling my kid, hey, you got to do this from this time to that time may not sit well with them, but hearing it from somebody else and them hearing it and saying, hey, this is how you become the entrepreneur that you want to become. And it may just carry over into the home life of holding those responsibilities over their head and saying, look, if you're going to do this, this is how it has to be done, right?
Yes.
How does the Academy foster collaboration and networking among young entrepreneurs?
We prioritize that through all kinds of different lessons that we teach our students throughout the program. We teach them how to interact with adults, and a lot of them are fine with that. Some of them are not, you know, teaching them that. So we bring adults in that are guest speakers to talk about their areas of expertise. So that's one way that we do that. We have our CEO roundtable where we teach them how to do their elevator pitch, walk up to somebody they've never met before and engage them. So we teach them that. We encourage them to interact with the panel of judges who run our pitch competition. We encourage them to reach out to people in their industry to learn more about. If they're trying to do a clothing line, reach out to somebody who's running a clothing line. If they're running a healthcare business or a pharmaceutical type of company, reaching out to somebody who's in that space, you know. So it's really important to us to teach students how to engage people who need to be a part of their business network. And we do that through a lot of different lenses so that they can see there are 500 ways to skin that cat. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are a lot of opportunities out there to connect with people.
So basically, customer service is really important, and you're teaching that in different ways.
Yes.
Let's talk about Future outlook.
Okay.
How do you see the landscape of young entrepreneurship evolving, and how is the Academy adapting?
Yeah. So one trend we saw this past year with our cohort was technology. We had, I think, 11 different businesses were revolving around an app or a website. And they were all in different areas of business, some were education, some were in design, one with fashion, but they're all apps or websites that provide a service. And I think that's, in general, we all know that. I mean, everybody walks around with a phone in their hand.
Right.
So I think the landscape of entrepreneurship for students, and they're way more comfortable with the technology than we are. I mean, they teach us stuff all the time.
Right.
So I think that is something. What I personally wonder about also that we haven't seen, but how maybe artificial intelligence will start influencing the landscape. Influencing the landscape. We haven't seen that yet, but I feel like maybe down the road, we're going to have students who are wanting to try to embrace that, incorporate it into some kind of thing. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But technology for sure.
Yeah, we was just talking about that in the office the other day as it pertains to the book bag giveaways and how schools are deviating away from paper and pens and kids learning to really do a lot of the things that we used to do when we were in school, learning how to do math manually, learning how to read manually. And we was talking about how AI is how you can go on a computer and start your sentences, and the computer actually will give you the whole sentence for you to write. And now you have to do, and just different things, and how everything is evolving. It was really great having you here with us.
Thank you for having me. It was great chatting with you.
I am so excited about this partnership. I don't know what to do. I mean, I have so many different ideas about things that we need to do in the community. I'm only one person, so my idea at this point is to bring as many people in as I possibly can to connect the dots. We're being the change that we want to see in the world.
Right.
I have this I just come back from the Edward Lowe Foundation on a retreat, and I brought this quote back with me. You have to start by starting, but those who change the world are the ones that show up. So I am looking for you to show up to help us change the world. So again, Dana, I'm going to ask you to do that PSA one more time, because I really think that the more of us that are working together and connecting the dots to getting the young kids into these programs, letting them know that these things are available to them.
I would love to hear from you. You can find out more about the Young Entrepreneurs Academy by visiting our website, yeabr.org. If you are interested in applying or know a student who should apply, I encourage you to tap that student on the shoulder and give them the website. The application link is right there. There's a little apply now button on the front. If you are a business owner or a community leader who would like to learn more about how to engage with us and volunteer, I'd love to talk to you about that as well. Feel free to reach out to me. You can email me right there on the website, info@yeabr.org.
Well, Dana, I am so excited. I cannot wait to see this partnership grow. I really wish I could turn back the hands of time and have my mom apply so that I could be a part of it.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity. We are so excited to have you as an advocate for the program. Thank you for having me.
Great. I'm so excited about
Great
this.
chatting with you.